Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is not glamorous. It's not about sudden bursts of effort. It's about showing up over and over again when it's easy and especially when it's not. The people you admire didn't get there because they had better luck. They got there because they mastered themselves. They built habits that over time made success a foregone conclusion. When you live with discipline, you no longer wonder if you'll get results. You know you will. Because discipline is cause and results are the effect. It's like planting seeds and tending to them daily. You don't have to question whether the crop will grow. If you plant, water, and protect it consistently, growth is inevitable. Discipline is a decision. Every morning, you choose whether to honor your commitments or surrender to convenience. And each choice compounds in your favor or against you. One skipped day becomes two. One compromise becomes a habit. But the opposite is also true. One kept promise strengthens your will, and one good habit reinforces another. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about refusing to quit when it's inconvenient. Success is rarely the product of grand events. It's the accumulation of small, consistent acts that no one sees, but everyone eventually notices. Discipline also protects you from the emotional roller coaster of motivation. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. Feelings come and go, but decisions can stand firm if you make them non-negotiable. When discipline is in place, you work whether you feel like it or not. That's how you turn potential into proof. Results take time, but if you're disciplined, time becomes your ally, not your enemy. While others waste days, you invest them. And that investment compounds until the gap between you and everyone else becomes impossible to ignore. You must treat discipline like a trusted business partner. Show up on time, keep your word, deliver value. Over time, discipline will pay you with freedom, opportunities, and influence that shortcuts can never buy. So make it your aim to become the person who doesn't have to try to get results. Live in such a way that your actions automatically create them. When discipline becomes your default setting, success stops being a question and starts being a certainty. Discipline is the cause, results are the effect. That's not just a clever phrase. It's one of the most reliable truths you'll ever learn about success. Everything in life operates on cause and effect. You plant a seed, you get a crop. You swing the hammer, you drive the nail. You put in the work, you get the result. There's no mystery about it. If you want something to change in your life, you can't just wish for the effect. You have to create the cause. The challenge is, most people want the effect without doing the work that causes it. They want the income without the hours. They want the fitness without the workouts. They want the influence without the responsibility. But life doesn't work that way. If there's no cause, there will be no effect. And if the cause is weak, the effect will be weak too. Discipline is the high quality because that produces high quality results. When you understand this, you stop chasing results and start building habits. You realize that results are inevitable, not because you're lucky, not because you found a shortcut, but because you have built the discipline to do the right things the right way long enough for them to pay off. Discipline means doing what you said you would do, even when you no longer feel like doing it. It's easy to make commitments when you're inspired, but discipline is what carries you through when the excitement fades. Think of it like a bank account. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you make a deposit. Every time you skip, delay, or give in to excuses, you make a withdrawal. If you keep making deposits, the account will grow, and one day the interest alone will carry you. That's when results start to feel automatic, but in truth, they're just the compounded effects of discipline. The reason discipline is so powerful is that it works quietly. You may not see the result tomorrow or even next month, but the process is already at work. Like a seed under the soil, growth is happening even when it's invisible. This is why impatience is dangerous. People give up before the effect has had time to show up. They think nothing is happening, but the truth is, they just haven't been disciplined long enough for the cause to fully mature. Discipline also sharpens your focus. When you know the results are tied directly to your actions, you stop scattering your energy. You stop dabbling and start committing. You choose the few things that matter most and give them consistent attention. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the right things consistently. That's where the real power is. Another thing discipline does is protect you from the ups and downs of motivation. Motivation is nice when it's there, but it's a poor foundation because it comes and goes. Discipline doesn't care about moods. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It shows up because it's supposed to. That's why disciplined people get results while others are still waiting to feel ready. And here's the beauty of it. Once discipline is in place, results become predictable. You don't have to wonder if the effort will pay off. You know it will, because cause and effect is built into the very nature of life. If you train every day, you will get stronger. If you study every day, you will get smarter. If you save and invest every month, you will build wealth. The only variable is whether you'll stay disciplined long enough for the full effect to show up. Too many people live as if life is a lottery, hoping that luck or chance will hand them what they want. But life is more like farming. You plant, you water, you protect the crop, and then you harvest. There's no shortcut to that process. You can't plant today and expect to eat tomorrow. But you can know with absolute certainty that if you keep planting and tending, the harvest will come. That's what makes discipline so freeing. It puts the power back in your hands. So if your results aren't where you want them to be, don't just stare at the effect and complain. Go back to the cause. Ask yourself, what am I doing every day that's producing this? What am I not doing that I should be? Then tighten the discipline. Build the habits. Stick to the process. You can't change the effect without changing the cause. But once you change the cause, the effect will have no choice but to follow. The day you truly understand that discipline is the cause and results are the effect is the day you stop guessing about your future. You'll know exactly where you're headed because you'll see the seeds you've planted and the care you've given them. And you'll be able to say with confidence, it's only a matter of time. That's not arrogance. That's the quiet certainty of someone who knows the law of cause and effect will not fail. Show up daily. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but that's where most of life's victories are won. Not in a single grand gesture, but in the quiet, repeated act of being present and doing what needs to be done every single day. You see, life rewards consistency far more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a day, or even a week. Anyone can get fired up for a short burst of time. But it's the person who shows up day after day, without waiting for perfect conditions, who ends up holding the rewards in the end. The danger is thinking that missing just one day doesn't matter. One day becomes two. Two becomes a week. Before you know it, you're starting over again. And starting over is expensive. Every time you quit and restart, you lose momentum. You lose the compound effect that only comes from steady, continuous effort. The truth is, showing up daily isn't just about the work you do today. It's about preserving the investment of all the work you've done before. Think of it like pushing a heavy flywheel. At first, it takes a lot of effort just to get it moving. Every push is hard. But over time, if you keep pushing, it gets easier. The wheel begins to turn faster. Momentum builds. But here's the key. If you stop pushing, the wheel slows down. If you stop long enough, you'll have to start all over again. Showing up daily keeps the wheel turning so you can benefit from the momentum you've already built. Showing up doesn't mean every day will be your best day. Some days, you'll feel unstoppable. Other days, you'll feel like you're moving through mud. But progress doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. On the tough days, it's not about how much you do. It's about refusing to disappear. Even a small step forward keeps you in the game. And small steps taken daily lead to massive changes over time. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to disappear. They have days when they don't feel like it, just like you. But they've trained themselves to show up anyway. They've made showing up non-negotiable. Whether the conditions are ideal or not, whether they feel motivated or not, they keep their appointments with themselves. When you commit to showing up daily, you start building a reputation with yourself. You start proving in small ways that you can be trusted. And that's powerful. Because once you trust yourself to follow through, confidence grows. You no longer live in the land of, I hope I will. You live in the land of, I know I will. That shift alone can change the way you approach every challenge. Another benefit of showing up daily is that it eliminates the mental debate. Without a daily commitment, every day becomes a negotiation. Do I feel like it today? Do I have time today? But when showing up is a given, there's nothing to negotiate. You simply do it the same way you brush your teeth or eat a meal. And that consistency frees up mental energy to focus on doing the work instead of debating whether to do it. Of course, there will be days when life throws you curveballs. Emergencies happen. Plans get disrupted. But if your habit of showing up is strong enough, even a break in routine won't throw you off for long. You'll return quickly because showing up has become part of who you are, not just something you do when it's convenient. If you want to change your life, stop looking for the perfect plan and start committing to a simple one: show up daily. Do the work even in small amounts and keep stacking those days. The magic isn't in any single day's effort. The magic is in the accumulation. It's in what happens when 30 days of showing up turns into 300 and then 3,000. That's when you'll look back and realize that the results you once dreamed about have become reality. In the end, showing up daily is an act of faith. Faith in the process, faith in the law of sowing and reaping, faith that if you keep moving forward, the results will come. And they will. Because life will always reward the one who stays in the game. Small habits matter. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they are the very bricks that build or destroy the structure of your life. Success rarely comes from one dramatic decision or one grand action. It comes from the little things you do over and over again, the small disciplines that compound quietly until their impact is impossible to ignore. The reason small habits are so powerful is that they work both ways, for you or against you. A single donut won't ruin your health, but if you eat one every day, it adds up. Skipping one workout won't make you weak, but skipping regularly will. Likewise, reading 10 minutes a day might not make you a genius overnight, but keep it up for a year and you'll have consumed more knowledge than most people touch in a lifetime. It's easy to underestimate the effect of small habits because their results are delayed. The human mind is wired to respond to immediate rewards and visible changes. That's why we often ignore the little choices, because we can't see the effect right away. But time is the great multiplier. A small habit done daily becomes a massive result given enough days, weeks, and years. Think of your life as a garden. Every small habit is a seed. Some seeds are good. They grow into health, wealth, wisdom, and strong relationships. Others are weeds. They choke out your potential and drain your energy. You don't notice the difference much in the early days, but give it time and the garden will reflect exactly what you've planted and nurtured. Small habits also shape identity. Every time you repeat an action, you cast a vote for the type of person you are becoming. If you write a page every day, you're not just producing words, you're becoming a writer. If you save a little money every month, you're not just increasing your bank account, you're becoming someone who is financially responsible. The habit is more than the action, it's the evidence of who you are choosing to be. The danger is thinking that small habits are too small to matter. That's the trap. People say, it's just one day, or it's just a little thing. But life isn't built in big blocks. It's built in grains of sand. Every grain counts. You don't have to overhaul your life in a week. You just need to make small, consistent improvements. The key is to choose habits that align with the results you want. If your goal is health, choose habits that promote health. If you want to grow your career, choose habits that build skills and relationships. Then, protect those habits like they're non-negotiable appointments with your future. Another truth about small habits is that they are easier to keep than big, dramatic commitments. Big commitments require big motivation, and motivation fades. Small habits are less intimidating, which means you're more likely to keep them. And once you keep them long enough, they run on autopilot. That's when you know the habit has taken root. You do it without having to think about it. It's also worth remembering that small habits tend to ripple outward. Drinking more water might lead to feeling more energetic, which makes you more likely to exercise, which improves your sleep, which sharpens your focus. One small habit can start a chain reaction of positive change. The opposite is also true. Neglecting one area can spill over into others. Skipping breakfast might make you irritable, which affects your interactions, which damages relationships. The small things matter because they don't stay small for long. So, don't despise small beginnings. Celebrate them. A single push up today might lead to 100 tomorrow. 10 minutes of learning today might lead to a new career in 5 years. Small habits matter because they create momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. At the end of the day, the life you build will not be the product of what you do occasionally, but what you do consistently. The small habits you keep, or fail to keep, are writing your future right now. Choose them wisely, protect them fiercely, and remember, little by little becomes a lot. Make discipline non-negotiable. That's the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who keep starting over. If discipline is something you try to keep, it will fail you the moment life gets uncomfortable. But when it's non-negotiable, when it becomes part of who you are instead of something you dabble in, you stop wondering whether you'll follow through, you just do. A non-negotiable discipline means there's no daily debate in your mind about whether you'll do the work. You don't wake up and ask, do I feel like it today? Feelings aren't part of the decision. The decision has already been made. Whether it's raining or sunny, whether you're tired or energized, whether the mood is high or low. You show up. That consistency is where the power lies. Most people lose the battle in their minds before they even begin. They let circumstances decide their level of effort. They give themselves too many outs and exceptions. But discipline that bends to convenience isn't really discipline, it's preference. And preference changes with the weather. If you want results that last, your discipline has to be stronger than your moods, stronger than your excuses, stronger than the temptation to postpone what needs to be done. Making discipline non-negotiable requires a shift in identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as someone who's trying to be disciplined and start seeing yourself as a disciplined person. That's who you are. When you see yourself that way, the choices become automatic. You don't need to summon extra willpower every day. You simply act in alignment with your identity. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't skip it just because you're tired or busy. You don't wait until you're motivated. You do it because it's what you do. The same should be true for your key disciplines. They should be so ingrained that skipping them feels unnatural, even uncomfortable. The beauty of making discipline non-negotiable is that it simplifies your life. Without it, every day is full of tiny, draining decisions. Should I do it now or later? Should I push through a rest? Should I skip today and make up for it tomorrow? Each question is a chance for your mind to talk you out of progress. But when the decision is already made, when the answer is always yes, you remove the mental clutter and free up energy for doing, not deciding. And here's the truth, non-negotiable discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about protecting your future. Every time you give in to an excuse, you teach yourself that it's okay to compromise on your dreams. Every time you keep your discipline, you teach yourself that your word matters. Over time, those lessons shape your confidence, your self-respect, and your results. It's not always comfortable. In fact, it's often inconvenient. There will be days when you're tired, when you're busy, when no one would blame you for skipping. But those are the days that count the most because they prove to you that you can follow through no matter what. Each time you keep the promise, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Making discipline non-negotiable also builds trust with others. People know they can rely on you because they see you rely on yourself. In a world where many people break commitments easily, being someone who follows through consistently sets you apart. Opportunities have a way of finding disciplined people because reliability is rare and valuable. So, make the choice once and then keep living it. Decide what matters most in your life and commit to the daily actions that will get you there. Write them down. Schedule them. Protect them. Treat them like they are as essential as breathing. If you do, you won't have to keep starting over. You'll build the kind of momentum that makes progress feel natural. When discipline is non-negotiable, results are inevitable. You stop playing the game of if and start living in the certainty of when. And that's when everything changes. Not because you found the perfect strategy, but because you became the kind of person who keeps going until the job is done. Protect your time. If you don't, someone else will use it for you. Time is the one resource you can never earn back. You can make more money, build more skills, even repair relationships. But once a day is gone, it's gone forever. That's why guarding your time is not just smart, it's essential. Every minute you spend is a choice. And whether you realize it or not, you are constantly trading your time for something. The question is, are you trading it for something that moves you toward your goals or something that quietly steals your future? If you're not careful, your time can be eaten away by distractions, by other people's priorities, and by habits that offer short-term comfort but no long-term reward. The truth is, most people don't lose their dreams because of one big mistake. They lose them in small, unnoticed ways, 10 minutes here, an hour there, wasted on things that don't matter. Over a week, that might not seem like much. But over a year, over a decade, the cost is enormous. Protecting your time means you stop treating it like it's cheap. You treat it like gold because that's what it is. One of the best ways to protect your time is to get clear about what matters most. If you don't know your priorities, everything will feel urgent. And when everything is urgent, nothing truly important gets done. You have to decide in advance where your time will go. Otherwise, the world will decide for you. And the world has endless demands. Protecting your time also means learning to say no, not rudely, but firmly. Every yes you give is also a no to something else. If you say yes to every request, every distraction, every opportunity that sounds good but isn't aligned with your goals, you'll find yourself too busy to do the things that matter most. Time isn't just about filling your schedule, It's about filling it with the right things. Another trap to avoid is the myth of, I'll do it later. Later is dangerous. Later feels safe because it lets you believe you're still in control. But later often turns into never. Protecting your time means doing the important things now, not waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There's just the moment you choose to act. You also have to protect your time from low-value activities that disguise themselves as productivity. Scrolling endlessly on a phone, sitting in unnecessary meetings, saying yes to projects that don't move the needle. These things give the illusion of being busy but deliver nothing of real value. Protecting your time means being honest about which activities actually produce results and which are just filling space. And remember, protecting your time isn't about working every second of the day. It's about using your time with intention. Rest, recovery, and leisure are important, but they should be chosen on purpose, not by default. There's a big difference between resting to recharge and wasting time out of habit. The more seriously you take your time, the more others will respect it. If you set boundaries and stick to them, people learn how to approach you. If you treat your time carelessly, people will assume it's there for the taking. Respect begins with you. Here's the hard truth: you don't get to decide how much time you have in total, but you do get to decide how you'll spend the time you're given. If you use it well, you can build something remarkable. If you waste it, you can lose everything you could have been. So start today. Audit your time. See where it's going. Cut out what doesn't serve your future. Guard your calendar like it's your most valuable possession. Because it is. When you protect your time, you protect your potential. And when you protect your potential, you protect your dreams. Stack your wins. One victory is good, but the real magic happens when you build one on top of another, day after day, until the pile becomes so high that momentum takes over. Wins are like building blocks. One on its own is fine, but a stack of them creates a structure that can support bigger goals, bolder moves, and greater confidence. The trouble is, too many people treat wins like rare events instead of daily opportunities. They think of a win as something huge. Landing a big contract, getting a promotion, losing 50 pounds. Those are great, but they're the result of many smaller wins that came first. A big win is usually just the visible tip of a mountain of small wins no one else saw. Stacking your wins begins with recognizing and valuing the small ones. Did you wake up when you said you would? That's a win. Did you complete the workout you planned? That's a win. Did you make the call you were avoiding? That's a win. Each time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you're adding to your stack. And here's the key. Small wins create momentum. The more you win, the easier it becomes to keep winning. Why does this work? Because wins are evidence. Every completed action proves to you that you're capable. That proof builds confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action creates more wins. It's a cycle that starts with something as simple as keeping a promise to yourself. When you win the small battles, you start to believe you can win the big ones. Stacking your wins also changes your mindset. Instead of focusing on how far you still have to go, you focus on the progress you've already made. That shift is powerful. Progress is motivating, and motivation, when paired with discipline, is a force that's hard to stop. When you can see your stack of wins growing, you stop feeling like you're working in the dark. You start seeing evidence that what you're doing is working. It's important to understand that not every win will be glamorous. In fact, most of them will be ordinary and uncelebrated. No one's going to throw a party because you drank more water today or skipped the fast food drive-thru. But those little choices matter because they stack up. And when you keep stacking them, they compound into life-changing results. One of the most effective ways to stack your wins is to make them visible. Keep a journal, check off a habit tracker, or simply list the things you accomplished each day. This turns wins into something you can see and measure. It's a reminder that you're making progress, even on days when you feel like you're not. You also need to protect your stack from being knocked over. That means avoiding self-sabotage. It's easy to undo progress with one bad choice, not because of the choice itself, but because of what follows. One missed workout can turn into a month if you let guilt or discouragement take over. Protect your wins by bouncing back quickly when you slip. The stack doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to keep growing. Stacking wins also applies to skill building. Each time you practice, you're adding another layer. At first, the progress may be hard to see, but over time, the skills compound. One guitar lesson becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, and one day you'll realize you've built mastery, not in a single leap, but through a steady stack of small wins over time. So, don't wait for the big life-changing moments to feel like you're making progress. Start looking for ways to win today. Do something you've been putting off. Stick to a commitment. Finish the task you started. End the day with more wins than losses, and tomorrow add to the stack. Before long, you'll have built something powerful. Not just a record of accomplishments, but a mindset that expects to win. And once you expect to win, your actions, habits, and results will start lining up to make it inevitable. That's the power of stacking your wins. It turns effort into momentum, momentum into belief, and belief into results.